Initially, I really had to gain respect. Yes, I'm young, but I'm serious. And just started doing new things because back in the day, it was a lot of off-plan. We changed the strategy to the secondary market. We started doing a lot of rentals, to actually survive. But then the market picked up in 2010.
Some people get in the comments and they're hating. How do you kind of deal with that?
The more hate, the better. So whenever hate messages start coming through, I'm like, yes, the video is going to go viral. People turn to God only when they have a problem. We very often forget to thank God for everything we have.
Finding the right partner. What is your words of wisdom for people?
Men will say it's so difficult to find a good girl. Women say it's so difficult to find a good man. I feel like people have this checklist of what a person should have, how they should look. My advice is follow your heart, stop making checklists, and the universe might surprise you.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of The Real Ones. Today, I'm joined by the lovely Alessia Sheglova. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. The Real Ones. I like that.
The Real Ones, yeah. So, the plan is to become like Diary of a CEO at some point. But, we got to start in real estate because that's what we're here to talk about, right?
Okay, awesome.
So, I know that, obviously, to be fair, I have to give credit to Sylvia where it's due. That's how I did my homework on, this podcast. Because all of your videos are, viral, right? And they're millions of views and things like that.
Not all.
And,
I wish they were.
Come on. They're all pretty, for when you think about the top real estate brokerage owners and things like that on social media, you're definitely up there kind of in the context of who you search for and okay, this is what they're putting out. This is the industry benchmark you're setting and things like that.
How I know social media is working, especially recently, once I hit the 100,000 followers mark, whenever I go somewhere with my family or whoever, there's at least one person that recognizes me and says, oh, are you that lady from real estate, from TikTok, lady from TikTok.
Yeah.
And recently I went to the mall.
Okay.
And I'm walking, I've been there for an hour. Nobody spoke to me. Nobody recognized me.
Right.
And I went home and I'm like, okay, something's wrong. And then I opened my Instagram and somebody messaged me, oh, Alessia, I saw you in the mall, but I didn't want to go say hi. And I was like to my husband, James, I was thinking something's wrong, but no, somebody did recognize me at least once.
That's so funny. No, but obviously now Dubai is, where you've kind of lived for a very long time. And I think a lot of people don't know that side of you at all, right? So you grew up in Dubai, correct? And tell me about that. What was childhood for you in the Dubai of old? Today, it's very awesome and fancy.
Interesting fact that I think nobody knows at all at me. I actually grew up in Sharjah.
No way. Okay, so you're a Sharjah kid.
Yes.
Oh my God. All the Sharjah folks in the comments. Let's
Thank
go.
God, not Ajman. No, I'm joking. Actually, my mom did have a business in Ajman, so I did go to Ajman often.
Wow.
But back in the day, I forgot which year it was, let's say 1995 or something.
Yeah.
I think most of the people actually lived in Sharjah.
Yeah.
Dubai was the hub. There was Deira for trading, etc. But I think a lot of the families actually based themselves in Sharjah.
Okay.
So I went to Shweifat.
Oh, she's a Shweifat kid as well. Yeah. Oh my God. Again, another thing that no one knows this about you,
Apparently,
I'm sure.
it's the most difficult school in UAE.
Hey, okay, I don't know about that.
Really?
Controversial opinion.
I was very smart, by the way. Best grades. So I went to Shweifat. I graduated from Shweifat Sharjah.
Yeah.
And then I went to study in Canada.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know, a lot of the kids back then were going to Australia, Canada, America.
Yeah.
So that's where I ended up.
What are your thoughts on Canada?
Cold. Even though I'm from Siberia, it was really cold.
Yeah.
I didn't want to stay there. I came back. But although a lot of my friends did stay after university, they remained there.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a good experience. I think it's really good for children, especially those who grew up in Dubai, to leave.
Yeah.
Because my brother was born here and he grew up here. And my mom did the right thing to send him to boarding school when he was around 15 because we grew up so spoiled here. 100%. Everything is done for us.
100%. There's so much that you take for granted, filling up gas, for instance.
But back in the day, it wasn't that bad, by the way. But now, as a mother, I'm I definitely need to send my son somewhere.
Yeah, it was the same for me. I went to Cambridge, not as smart as maybe Shweifat kids, but then went to London after that. And I totally agree with you. We need to get that outside exposure just to, come back with a little bit more thicker skin, I feel as kids, because otherwise you're just growing in the shadows of your parents and things like that. But, obviously you've become this real estate mogul of sorts now, right? Tell me what 7-year-old you wanted to be.
I don't know if kids actually know what they want to be at that age, but a bit later down the line and in university years, my goal actually was to be a doctor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So in university, I had to do pre-med. I studied to be a nutritionist, dietitian. So I actually worked in a hospital for a year with like patients, etc. Like nutritionist or dietitian, and my expertise is not just about losing weight. It's about working with like oncology patients, people with diabetes, like actual serious problems.
Whoa.
So I done that. But then after 5 years away from Dubai, from studying, I didn't know if I could continue studying for another 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided to just come back. And Dacia was actually founded by my mother in 2004.
Yeah.
So when I came back in 2008, that's when the financial crisis happened. And my mother was kind of done because it was a huge shock. Mm-hmm. She said, why don't you try running this business? And if you like it, you'll stick with it. And if not, you can always become a nutritionist or go study to be a doctor down the line. I was 21.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah.
So you took over Dacia at 21?
Yes. Well, it was small. We were around 10 people. But of course, at least the setup was there. So I think it's really unfair for me to say, oh, I've done it all by myself. No, 100%. My mother did have a huge part to play in it initially to give me the company that was ready. Yeah. But at the same time, she wasn't involved much. And for me and my husband, which is also another important point, to grow it to the level that we did, I definitely take all the credit.
Yeah. I mean, now you're at 100
120.
That's insane. That's a huge amount of growth that I know you're trying to be humble about it, and I get that you don't want to like take the credit and shout out to, can I say auntie? Your mom?
Sure.
Shout out to auntie for setting the big boss. But at the same time, it's an amazing feat what you've been able to accomplish in this amount of time. Who's harder to deal with, patients or real estate clients?
Oh my God. Honestly, it was a shock because I'm really not like a salesy person. Okay. I'm really like into people, emotions. I'm a Pisces, so I'm like very emotional.
I have no idea what that means. What does that mean?
Maybe some followers or whatever, some viewers know what it means.
I'm a Scorpio.
I don't know what that means either. No, but I'm just like very emotional and like I care really about people, or maybe it's because I wanted to be a doctor. So getting into sales was really difficult. But what made me stand out from the rest of the agents is that clients actually saw that I truly care about them and I'm not pushing something on them. I'm listening to what they want. I'm advising them. I'm guiding them, but I'm not being pushy. Yeah. So yes, maybe sometimes it interfered with me actually closing a deal because I wasn't like pushing the people. Yeah. But the clients which I did gain from those years, they're still with me to date.
Oh, wow.
They still call me, they only deal with me, etc.
Yeah. And what was it like? What do you think it was that you told them, right? Like, as in that you're obviously trying to be the doctor, kind of trying to figure, trying to understand what the problem is before you're trying to push something on them. Yeah. And what do you find that most people don't ask these clients?
No, it's not that. It's just I never promise something. Like a lot of the people nowadays just promise crazy things just to get the deal done. They throw numbers, they throw statistics. Like a lot of people still comment under my reel where I said new agents in Dubai, they had exactly the same pitch. If you buy this property now, you can resell it in 6 months with 30% return. Insane. It was the standard pitch. And there's a lot of hate under one of my reels. They're like, from off-plan agents, of course, saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. But I do know what I'm talking about. They're using the data and the statistics from 2020, 2022, yes, where the market boomed. But I've been here in 2008, where the market collapsed super fast. I know it was different years. But I've been here in 2015, where the market flattened, etc. This is why I would never guarantee to my client a certain return. Yeah. Because, yes, the data showed this, but the data showed this between, let's say, 2020 to 2024. But it doesn't mean it will always be the same.
100%.
Like, economics changes all the time. Yeah. So, yes, I can advise my client that it's a good product, it's a good developer, it's a good location. I can tell them the growth from before, but I will never say, yes, in 6 months, I guarantee I'll resell it with 30% premium.
Yeah.
And, a lot of these clients who were guaranteed this are coming back to us because we're more into secondary. Please help us sell this off-plan property. My agent promised me a 30% return and all that. And they don't want to deal with those agents anymore.
They've lost a client.
They lost the client. Yeah. But also one of the comments under the reel was, real estate market is such that, we're always relying on new clients and not repeat business. But for me, it's not the case. And for many of our agents in my company, it's not the case. We have repeat clients all the time, landlords who continuously only want to rent with us, who afterwards want to sell the property through us, etc. So for me, because I am a Dubai kid and I've been here for so long, for me, repeat business is everything.
100%, right?
So,
and like in 2008, you said that, you know, leading that team, and you were what,
21, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? And that can't be easy. And I'm sure, like, obviously you had some sort of guidance and things like that, maybe from Big Boss, like you said. But at the same time, it's not, like, how do you kind of lead a team through a period of struggle across the, like, because I can remember the pandemic, right? But I don't remember the 2008 component. So how did you take your team through that time?
The first very interesting thing when I first joined and my mother said, okay, here's Alessia, I'm retiring and she'll take over, was the look on people's faces because I was so young. Yeah. There was like total disbelief. They're like, didn't take me seriously. Yeah. But then they saw how dedicated I was, how I was implementing new things, how I was actually giving good advice. And by 25, my age didn't matter. Like, I was recruiting people, we were closing deals, and like it was never ever an interference. And that's why till now, when I hire new people and they're younger, I stop looking at the age, and they actually end up doing really well. So it's age is not a number, but sorry, what was your question?
No, it's just like, how do you take a team through a tough time? So
right? So initially I really had to gain respect that, yes, I'm young, but I'm serious. And just started doing new things, because back in the day, it was a lot of off-plan. So my mother also was doing a lot of off-plan deals. And we changed the strategy to the secondary market. We started doing a lot of rentals, you know, to actually survive. And but then the market picked up in 2010. So it was just a very short period of time. And then I met my husband through work. And he also really helped me. And he joined Dutch, I think, in 2012. I
think I know the story. I think I've seen a reel about this. So it's something like you both were going after the same client or something like that. And then he tried to, you know, like
steal it.
Okay. That's how.
The story is actually when I was 21, I also modeled a little bit, because it was always like I really wanted to model. And when I came to Dubai, because the market was slow, I'm like, let me finally try. So I made a portfolio, but that's not the point. The point is I was the first person in Dubai real estate to place a photo in my email signature.
No way.
Yes.
Okay, very interesting.
And then a lot of communication used to be done via email. And from that time, I actually became popular in Dubai. I remember all the transfers were happening in Dubai Land Department. I would walk and people would be like, oh, Alessia, because they recognize my photo. But going back to my husband's story, so we used to do a lot of like email campaigns, like hot listings to agents. And James saw my photo.
Oh, that's okay.
So it was kind of like that. But then he did try to also, like you said, steal the unit, etc. But I didn't let him, and then we actually closed the deal. And that's it.
Wow, this is what the kids call Riz these days. No, but that's really cool. And you know, so you had the 2010 time, and then you scaled the team from 10 to 120 people. What's the hard part about scaling to 120 people?
Initially, when you are doing everything on your own, you think that you can do things better and you find it very difficult to delegate. But I think once you start growing, it's so important to understand that you cannot do it all by yourself. You need to start trusting people with certain tasks, but also finding capable people.
Right.
You know, so I think it's really important to find somebody who potentially is better than you in most things. And this is when you can grow. And without James, like, we would have never had the company that we have. And without many managers in our team, we wouldn't have had the company that we have. So yes, it's all good to say, you know, credit to me just because I'm the face of Dacia, but there's so many other people within the team who the credit belongs to as well.
And what do you ask them? Like, what's that one thing that goes like, nah, we're not hiring that guy, we're hiring the guy?
Oh my God. If it's a managerial position, I usually do like maybe 4 interviews with the person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it's somebody that I'm going to be working very closely with. And I really need to understand, like, first of all, if we're the right fit for one another, if the person is truly interested to work with us, or is it just, you know, about the money? Sometimes people are just chasing the money, right? So no, I ask a lot of questions. Like I ask about the plans, like what are they planning to implement? Also, our vision needs to align, you know, because a lot of people like some people will say, oh, let's throw, I don't know, this much money into marketing and we'll start closing leads. But this is not my vision, right? We need to do stuff that is like a lot of operational things, structure-wise and all that. So,
yeah, I mean, having a big ad budget doesn't mean success.
Exactly,
right?
but a lot of people just think throw money at it.
That's not how it works.
There's a lot of companies who open new agencies. They think it's so easy. Throw money. And usually in 3 years, they're gone.
Wow.
Dacia has grown organically, fully. We've never done any finance, investments. Everything was grown from our own profits. And I think and this is why maybe we didn't grow to 600 agents. You know, we've really grown organically, and we only hire people that we truly believe in.
Wow. And I think like people don't understand there's this mix of organic content and paid content that needs to exist to kind of really like, and by paid content, I mean like performance marketing and stuff like that. I think it works only if you already recognize the person, kind of a thing, right? So like, oh, of course, I saw her. This is the same person, right? Like having multiple touch points with the individual that's viewing your ad or whatever helps when you're converting that. Right?
All the traffic that we get to our company page and my own page has been organic. We don't do any paid marketing.
You don't do any
because
paid
my marketing agency who do all my reels recommended to me that if I start paying Instagram, they will think that I have the money and the budget, and they will stop pushing my reels organically. Yeah. So basically, and same thing with TikTok. So basically,
this is why I never like boost posts and things like that. That doesn't really work at all. But so that's really interesting. And like you're the queen of personal brand, I would say, right? That's your bread and butter. Like you know it in and out better than most people, and you often get hate because of the fact that you know what works, and it doesn't happen to be like, oh, it's not so how you say, yes, you know, you got the Blazer, the G-Wagon, all the fun stuff, but like it's kind of like, you know what's trending, and you're going to make content in like a real estate version of it, and then you're going to put it out there. And some people like get in the comments and they're hating, like, and how do you kind of deal with that, right? Because it's so much pressure.
We talked about Zohab Realtor and Harley recently, and I'm a fan, like you said. One thing he told me is like, the more hate, the better.
Yeah.
So whenever hate messages start coming through, I'm like, yes, the video is going to go viral. But we're talking about getting inspiration from other creators. This is how social media works. Like there's so many people who copy my original content, and I take it as a compliment. Right. But some people, jump in my comments saying, oh, we've seen it before. But exactly, you should not reinvent the wheel. If there's a video that works, yes, many other content creators jump on the trend and follow it, and that's how you grow. If you're going to continue to think that, oh, let me reinvent something, let me try this, you will never grow your following.
Right. And like when, let's say, a new agent walks through the doors of Dacia today, and they look up to you and they want to be like you, what's your playbook to them? How do you become Alessia?
Well, it's hard, right?
It's impossible.
I've seen a lot of women try to become me. It's hard.
Come on.
No. The most important thing in personal brand is being you. So I'm sure there was a lot of cringe content that I've done that people are probably like laughing at me for. But I think being transparent, being honest, and being true to yourself, being able to laugh at yourself is key in social media. I never use, for example, filters. When people do stories and there's filters, it's fake. I'm very, very honest and transparent. And what people see on social media, this is the real me. And even many times when agents meet me, they feel like they already know me because of the social media. And they say, oh, my God, you're even nicer than you are on social media. And I think this is so important, to be yourself. In terms of personal brand building, if people do ask, like agents or whoever asks me what it takes to build your personal brand, and sometimes they also ask me, should I remove my existing page and start a new one? I always say no, because unless obviously you have really inappropriate content there, because people want to see your personal life. People want to see if you have pets, if you have kids, where you go on the weekend, what you eat. So it's a balance between what you do work-wise and what you do as a person. And success in real estate for a real estate agent, it's people don't want to be sold to. This is why most of my content is like entertainment or educational. I'm not like selling. People want to be your friend. Right. People want to know your life. And then, okay, let's say beach, gym, work. And then you say, oh, by the way, I have this property for sale.
Ice plunge, run, brunch.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Cringe content, something funny. Oh, by the way. And this is how you get the views. And also a lot of my agents get listings, get owners, get buyers contact them and say, oh, we love Dacia, we love Alessia, we've seen her on social media.
Yeah.
This is why we want to work with you.
Right.
So
right.
it's pretty, I don't know if it's easy or not, but I think it's pretty hard to reach to the level where I am now because I started in 2019 social media.
Yeah.
And at that time in Dubai, I was definitely the first female to be pushing social media content. Yeah. And now there's so many. Like now competition is really, really difficult. I'm sure it's still possible to grow to the level where I am now. But at the same time, it's not just about the number of followers.
Right.
It's about the quality of your followers.
100%. There's people that buy followers like all the time.
Oh, yeah, that's like totally pointless.
And you can go and check their engagement and just, okay.
But what I mean about that, like I can have 100,000 followers right now, but if all of them are just, I don't know, not my target audience, maybe they just like my fashion sense or whatever, I might never close a sale. Yeah. But if another agent has only 2,000 followers, but all of them are actually real buyers, I think that agent will actually close more business than I do.
Exactly.
So it's not really about the numbers, it's about your niche and if your followers are your ideal client.
Yeah. This is what I've been saying, guys. Like, I got 550 subscribers. Who cares? It's all of the brokerage owners. That's all that matters.
Exactly. No, but it's true.
Yeah, no. But, speaking of like the technology sort of component of it, right? How have you seen that change from 2004, 2008, kind of all the way to now? Like, what did you do differently? What do you do differently now?
Oh my
you feel
God, that's like night and day.
Yeah.
In 2008, when I started, it was only newspaper.
Yes.
Gulf News was like this thick. Yeah, exactly. There was no, I think the first portal was the Bizzle, but I don't think it was even functioning for property in 2008. Yeah. So portals became massive. So that's a huge thing for us. There was no social media. So then there was the social media aspect, which we had to adapt to. Everything changed. WhatsApp, like it wasn't that big. Now most of business is done over WhatsApp. Yeah. Everything changed a lot.
That's so interesting, the WhatsApp thing. Like, what do you think? Like, I saw you say this on Sylvia's podcast. You said, you need to be sending people a happy birthday message, right? You need to kind of what are you noticing about a client that other people are not, right? Birthdays could be one thing. Someone could be saying, oh, my kid is going back to school like this next week or something like that. So
you know what I think we don't do really well? We don't do really well in Dubai real estate. Maybe some companies do, but I'm not sure. We don't follow up with the clients who already closed with us, close the deal.
The after sales.
Exactly. I think maybe in America, they're probably much better. But even at the time of the sale, how many agents truthfully actually give the client something?
Yeah.
I think not a lot. I know some agents do, but in general, I think not a lot. How many agents exactly follow up afterwards with a happy birthday message? How many agents contact the client in a year to say, oh, happy anniversary of owning your home. How are you doing? You know that nurturing of the client, 1,000% we don't do enough of that.
Right.
So maybe that's a good idea to create some sort of app where...
it's funny you should say that. We can do that.
To create an app where the reminders do come and different ideas and strategies of how you can nurture the relationship with the client.
Of course. I think that makes a lot of sense. And, you hear a lot about this, like the AI stuff coming into the mix. There's actually now a tool where the AI agent calls the clients for you, right? Like, I mean, yes. And then there's also, I think, Bland and a couple of other ones. They pick up the phone and they call the client for you, qualify the conversation or set up another conversation. Do you think that works?
We haven't used it, but I have been on a demo of Tripler and the conversations sound pretty realistic, to be honest. And they are generating leads, so it must work. It would be silly of me to sit here and say it doesn't work. Yeah. And honestly, as a mother and as a person who's been through university, etc., ChatGPT is scary. No, I'm thinking my son will not have to use his head soon.
They're going to become like, unless you force them to, they're going to become less and less reliant on their own mind, right?
Yes, this is what's, you can, I'm now not relying on my mind. Like if I need to write an email or something to a person, I put a draft in ChatGPT and ChatGPT comes up with the most amazing email ever. Yeah. Yeah. And it can also create your content. You can actually give very specific instructions to ChatGPT that this is my personality, this is my target audience, this is what I want to post. Please give me content ideas, and it will do it for you. Yeah. And that will kill creativity.
What do you think about this? So I'm telling you from my side of the world, in your Silicon Valley, etc., where they're saying basically all of the tasks that we do today can be automated, done by AI. Everything from becoming a banker through to becoming a real estate agent, whatever, can be done through AI. And basically everyone gets a monthly basic income or like a universal basic income kind of a thing, let's say $500, $1,000. And then you just kind of focus on creative pursuits, exercise, sing, do art, and then you don't really work for a living. It's just a monthly income that's coming. Capitalism is kind of like,
New World Order.
Yeah, New World Order.
Let's get into conspiracies.
No, but like
we'll
that's
get
kind
canceled like Andrew Tate.
He's famous.
Yeah.
No. But the point is just like that's kind of what a lot of people say it's going towards.
No, it's scary.
Yeah.
And honestly, my favorite genre of movies is sci-fi. So I've watched enough sci-fi movies to know how this ends.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're do you identify with the Tony Stark, or like where do you what character? What's
that's Marvel.
Like Iron Man?
No,
like,
I'm more like into Matrix and all that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, cool. Marvel, different genre.
I don't know. But everybody says, by the way, even when I go somewhere, they say you look like Wonder Woman.
No
all
way.
All the Filipinos, especially when I used to wear glasses, they say, "Oh my God, ma'am, you look like Wonder Woman." So I identify definitely as Wonder Woman. If you want to go down that route,
that'll be the title of the video, Wonder Woman of Real Estate. But obviously we've spoken about like the highlights, right? Mm-hmm. Spoken about all the good times. Dacha's killing it. You're killing it. Tell me about a time that it wasn't that great, right?
And by the way, it's a really interesting topic. And as I was driving to the podcast, I wanted to touch base on this. Social media can be so toxic.
No.
Because everybody just shows the good times.
Yeah.
Everybody, like if it comes to a business page, only the good times, the wins, nobody ever talks about losses, and I'm sure they won't. And the same thing, like if you follow somebody who's a fitness influencer, they will of course show you their best days, how they look amazing, and it makes people feel like shit. And I think this is why there's so many haters out there for somebody who is not successful, for somebody who is not good looking, right? When they look at your content, they just think lucky, or some people say to me like I sleep with sheikhs for money or something.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? Like there's one reel that has 11 million views, and the comments underneath it are just crazy. It's crazy how people would see me, they don't know anything about me, and write the most degrading comments under it.
Yeah.
So I think this is why there's so much toxicity in social media, and also sometimes it can make people feel really like bad about themselves because they only see the good. So for example, so the first time we meet and you think like everything in my life is amazing, I'm smashing it, but in reality, you don't know, right?
Right.
You don't know my profit loss.
Tell me.
Exactly. You don't know like if I have issues in my personal life and things like that. So I think general advice to people is just not to believe everything they see on social media because anybody can paint a beautiful picture. So in terms of your question, my highs and lows, every single month I think there's a low. Every single month there's a struggle. For example, if you hire an agent, from without Dubai real estate experience, from somewhere abroad like UK, you put your heart and soul into that agent, you make sure they become successful, and afterwards they leave, they go set up their company. For me, it's heartbreaking. I know it's part of the game, but because, as I said, I'm a Pisces, you don't know what it means, but and I'm a woman, I actually truly, truly love and care about every single person in my team.
Wow.
And I actually put for me, they're not a number. Like for many companies, I'm sure that you've spoken to, etc., they see people, especially if they have 600 people, etc., just numbers, just dollar signs. For me, no. I know every single person's name. I know their story. I know like what they like, etc. I'm fully invested in them. So for me to lose somebody is very painful. That's one thing. And what's other challenges? My God, there's so many challenges. Of course, closing deals is a challenge. Dubai is a very competitive market. And because we don't have like this exclusivity, we have people's owners' numbers everywhere. It's very, very cutthroat. So to be working on a deal, or you see your agent working on a deal and then lose it for something very, very silly, that's also like a big challenge.
Yeah.
But the biggest challenge for me also is balancing everything to be able to find time. Because
how do you do that? Because I know you're super into obviously the social media stuff, the real estate part, fitness is like a huge thing. Yeah, of course. And like, how do you kind of juggle all of that, right? Like I don't like to bring up questions of work-life balance or things like that to like, especially brokerage owners and because you guys have been doing it for so long, like it doesn't really, but how do you like think that you should go about it?
It's kind of goes in line with how I managed to scale the business. Very, very important to find people who will help you. So with child, for sure, like obviously I have a nanny, etc., right? Then with training, I have a personal trainer now for the past, 7 years. And the only reason I pay a personal trainer is to be accountable. Because I know for a fact, if I didn't have her waiting for me, I would not show up in the gym. So you pay people to help you. And in terms of work, like, I make sure, by the way, so I wake up early, I go to the gym, so that's out of the way. And then in the evening, I make sure I'm there. Like
ridiculous hours, by the way, like 5 a.m., 6 a.m.
No,
like
that's probably a different person. It's been on your podcast. No, I go to the gym around 7:30. So,
no, I swear there was a run. Or something like that.
Yeah, but that's not regular. So I think it's very important to be realistic with your expectations.
Okay, cool.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Because I think I woke up one day and I was going through all my stories. I was like, how have they done an ice plunge? And I just woke up. Like, this is...
No, like, so you just, obviously you have to adjust your sleeping schedule. I think sleep is so important, by the way. Adjust your sleeping schedule to what will work for you. So for example, if you're a night owl and you have a very social, buoyant social life, you don't want to be waking up at 5 a.m. every day, right? So for me, no, I made sure that I am okay. I wake up at 7 a.m. I finish my workout, etc. And then I'll still be working in the evening. So, because sometimes it's very difficult if I'm shooting content, I'm working out, and then I have to go to work and speak to all the people.
Of course.
It's hard to find time to actually do your deep work. So usually at night I'm doing that. And on weekends, today before I came to the podcast, I worked a bit. So, for me, it's not a 9 to 5. It's how many hours a day? I don't know.
24/7, basically.
14 hours a day, exactly. So I'm always working.
And you're trying to squeeze in the health component and all of that.
That's so important, by the way.
What's interesting is, because you mentioned weekend and we're talking about the balance component. On Sundays, you go to church and you have a photo op. I do that too. But the fact that you are open about that God is important in your life is very interesting. You want to talk about? I mean, we don't have to.
No, sure. Actually, so when I was there in church, I actually felt weird to take out my phone and take a picture. But the only reason I did it is to remind others how important God is. And from any religion. And I think and I think living in a Muslim country, you realize how important it is. I love Islam. I love that people are praying 5 times a day. They fast as a community. I think it's so beautiful. 100%. And this is why I wanted to remind people maybe who are of a different religion, such as me, that, there is a church here that no, I shouldn't say you should. That it's really important just to be grateful, to show gratitude, and to remember what's truly important is your connection with God. That's it.
Yeah, I keep saying that, like the God, family, your relationships, how you treat people, like that's it, right? Like, I mean, you have money, 10 other people have money, like a million other people. It doesn't matter. And
also that's another thing, like a lot of people in Dubai, especially new people, they come and they make so much money in a short period of time and they forget where they came from. That being a good person, being humble is much more important than how much money you have. And exactly, the most important things in life, like religion, family, and just being a good person, to be honest. And I think, that's, for me, like, I've no matter, like, if I have money, if I don't have money, like, I've always stayed the same.
That's really, really cool. And also, I think for people that don't have an insight on who you actually are, to hear that is very, different. And I think they'd be more inclined to come up and say hi to you at Dubai Mall now.
A lot of people do.
The Fashion Avenue is going crazy now. Everyone's gonna,
And another thing, like, I feel like people turn to God only when they have a problem. So for example, you're going through a tough time, somebody is sick, and you turn to God. But we very often forget to thank God for everything we have. So for me, this is like standard. Every single night before I go to sleep, I say, like, God, thank you for everything, like for my family, for my work, for my health, etc. So that's it.
That's so much respect. Also, I feel like I needed to hear that. But okay. So you've seen a lot of young people now that are like you said, move to Dubai, etc. And in general, right, like young people trying to make it. You were a 21-year-old, 25-year-old CEO, right? That's not an everyday situation. What advice?
By the way, I did start as a business development manager, then managing director and CEO, I think just recently. So I didn't start as a CEO.
Of course. But the point of like being like sort of ambitious and wanting to go after the things that you did, achieving the things that you have, what advice would you give your 21-year-old self?
I was quite reserved, and there was a lot of times where, let's say, I was invited to somewhere, or there was a chance to meet somebody, and I would say no. So, and now I realize how important your network is. Yeah. You know, your network is your net worth and all that. So I wish I said yes to more chances, like to more opportunities. I wish I met more people. I wish I was less shy. I wish I learned more and maybe took more risks, because I'm quite a risk-averse person. And this is why it's amazing that I have James. And I feel like men are much more prone to taking risks, while women generally are more risk-averse. That's just nature. And we balance each other so well. But I wish I took more risks. And also, I think if I did study business, I think that would have been much more beneficial to running a real estate company than studying nutrition.
Really? I really don't think so, to be very honest with you. I think your time dealing with the patients and things like that, that is way more valuable than any business degree. Or I did finance, and trust me, it does not help me one bit. Like, I'm not going to do a discounted cash flow for, like, anything. I got an AI tool that does that stuff for me, like, instantly. So
we never know, right? But the only thing, like, I'm pretty happy with how my life turned out, so no complaints. But this is the only thing, whenever I look back, this is what I say, that I wish I said yes to more things.
Yeah, wow. I think that's really powerful.
And another thing that I want to say, like recently, a lot of agents, they're like scared. They're like, oh, I'm scared that agent is going to cut me out. Oh, I don't want to share that information. And they have zero on the board. And I tell them, if you don't take the risk, if you don't take the chance, first of all, how will you ever know? And how will you even close a deal? Sometimes I think trust and faith in people is important. Yes, the business is cutthroat. Yes, there's going to be a lot of people who will try to cheat you. But we need to take the chance, right?
100%. Have you ever met a lot of do you meet a lot of startup founders? Not really, so much. No. They're mostly broke. So they don't come to no, but like it's the same principle in the sense that the first time founders, the people that have never started a company before, they'll be like, I have a top secret idea. You have to sign an NDA before I tell you about this, right? Versus someone who's doing this the second time, they'll be like, distribution. I'll tell everybody. Like, I'm going to the bathroom, I'm telling everybody. I came up with my idea here, like whatever. Everyone's talking about it everywhere because distribution is so much more important than whatever idea you have, right? And the execution of it. But it's the same thing. Like, if you're too busy, like, working out the little details, you're not going to actually do any deals. You're not going to make anything.
I think the point is, like, don't overthink it. Just jump in the deep end. And if it's meant to be yours, it will be yours. And speak to as many people as possible, even if they're agents or not. Make the connections because, as I said, I've met my husband and we have an amazing business together now and family because we took a chance on each other. You know what I mean? We've met through real estate. So I think I love the real estate industry, and I think it's such a great career to be in because of how many people you meet.
And I guess because you touched upon that part, like in terms of finding the right partner for you, what is your words of wisdom for people that are in that boat?
Obviously, we've been married now we've been together for 14 years. So I haven't dated for 14 years, let's say. Yeah. But I speak to a lot of single people about the dating life in Dubai, and a lot of them say, oh, men say the same thing as women. Okay. Men will say it's so difficult to find a good girl, all they want is like money, blah, blah, blah. And then women say the same thing, it's so difficult to find a good man. And I feel like in the modern world, I don't know, like I said, I haven't dated for a long time. People have this checklist of what a person should have, how they should look like. He shouldn't be in the same company as me. He shouldn't be in the same industry as me. He needs to be, I don't know, man in finance or whatever. Okay. There's a lot of checklists. How I was when I dated, I just followed my gut. I followed my intuition. I wanted to see if I feel comfortable with the person, if there's a chemistry. This is all I cared about. I didn't care about their bank account, if they're going to pay for my coffee on the first date, like all these ridiculous things that now we're looking at. No. All I wanted to see, like I said, if we click. And James wasn't like some super successful mogul at that time. I was an agent. He was an agent. We met, we clicked, and we grew the business together. Yeah. And I think this is when the couples become most powerful, when they build something beautiful together. Wow. Based on mutual respect, not because one person has more money, etc. So my advice is, honestly, it sounds cliche, but follow your heart. Stop making checklists and the universe might surprise you.
Wow. But also, seriously, guys, pay for coffee on the first date. Like, come on. Come on. Coffee, like, go to Katrina. Katrina's 5 dirhams coffee now. Like, I don't know.
No, but I feel like why I'm talking about money, it's quite an important topic, right, nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh, did the guy take you on the first date to like some fancy restaurant? Did he pay? But at the same time, like if it's a first date, why should a man invest in some fancy restaurant if it's the first date and you might never click? Like I feel like love should not be based around money.
Yeah.
To start with, like the first date can be something not expensive, like a coffee. You know, for sure, a man will pay for the coffee.
Yeah.
But one girl once told me that how she knows if a guy is serious or not, the first date needs to be in Burj Al Arab.
You're kidding me.
No wonder she's freaking single.
Oh my God, yeah. No, that is definitely not the benchmark. And it shows what kind of person that person is, right? Like what they're optimizing for, materialism, this kind of stuff. Like
another one of our good friends, he was also looking for a girlfriend in Dubai. And this girl he started dating used to continuously forget her wallet.
Oh.
But it sends the wrong message.
Hint, bro.
Like I said, just imagine that guy you're dating is just your friend.
Yeah.
And offer to split the bill. The guy himself will say, no, don't offend me, don't split the bill, but just offer.
Yeah.
Like I always used to offer, by the way. Like I never took advantage. Like initially when you guys are just starting to date, think of it as a friendship. And that could potentially grow into something more beautiful.
I feel like we could have a whole other podcast about
anyways,
just
yeah.
this.
No, it just makes me so mad. Like
no,
money,
I'm with you.
Height, where he works. Like, come on, you're single. You're like 40 and you're single, and you have all these like criteria.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Damn. Well,
over.
Guys,
you got me mad.
real estate, money, God, finances. I don't know, like dating and like. But you're 6 foot,
height wise, 5'8".
Okay, what? Oh, it's heel. Oh
heels.
my God.
Yeah,
I was just because then you were the 6 foot,
what do you mean?
Like the woman in real estate, like your husband can probably sing the song. Like,
my husband is taller than me. Yeah.
Oh, wow. He thought that.
No, I'm 5'8". Actually, normal height for Russian girls.
Oh, okay.
Whenever I go and there's many Russian girls, I'm actually the shortest.
So, obviously, unfortunately, we have to wind down this conversation. But tell me a little bit about what you're sort of looking forward to in the next few months, years, etc.
I feel like because I'm already... Can I say my age? No, I will not say my age.
I don't think. You're probably one of the youngest CEOs out there. Okay. So, yeah.
I feel like with age, with more experience, I actually start to understand what it takes to run a successful business. And this is what I really feel like I was missing when I was younger. Like nobody told me what to do. So everything that I've done is solely based on experience. Of course, I read books, etc. But, it's experience. So now I am really looking forward to building a really, really strong management team that can help me because it's getting hard, being working 14 hours a day. So I do want to kind of step back a bit.
No.
I don't know if it's ever going to happen or not. Of course, I'm still going to be hands-on, but I want to free up my time. This is what I'm really striving to do because the reason I think most people, including myself, want money is to have that financial freedom.
Right.
But right now there's zero financial freedom, as in I need to be involved in the business to make sure it's successful. So I want to grow it to the level where I don't have to be there all the time. I want to focus more on myself and my family. Maybe baby number 2. You never know.
You heard it here first. Awesome. Yeah.
This is what I think the future holds for me.
Well, Alessia, it's been an absolute pleasure and a really fun conversation. We spoke earlier about how, if it's going to be bad, the episode's done in 25, 30 minutes. She's like, and this has just gone on. But thank you so much for coming on and taking the time on the weekend as well. I really appreciate you coming down.
Thank you. It was fun.